is equal to, right? What we got is previously velocity in medium 1 divided by velocity in medium 2, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
See, previously I have taken here, if you see, I have taken this as 8, this as medium, right? So sin I by sin R is equal to V naught by Vm, isn't it? Now what I'm doing is, instead of vacuum, I'm taking medium, some medium, both or some mediums. So it will be V1 divided by V2. What is V1? V naught divided by mu.
Mu1.
Divided by what is V2?
V0 by mu2.
Mu2 by mu1.
Mu2 divided by mu1. From this mu1 sin I is equal to mu2 sin R. This is called as Snell's law. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, we know V is equal to nu lambda.
Yes, sir.
That means velocity is directly proportional to wavelength.
Yes, sir.
So, can I say sin I divided by sin R is equal to V1 divided by V2 is equal to lambda 1 divided by lambda 2?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
V1, I can write it as nu lambda 1. V2, I can write as nu lambda 2. Nu and nu gets cancelled, so this becomes lambda 1 by lambda 2.
Yes, sir.
So from this is equal to mu2 divided by this is a very, very important formula. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Because this will give you your cases, what happens to your wavelength whenever a light is going from lighter medium to denser medium and denser medium to lighter medium. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This for you is like a demigod equation. Clear? Now you are able to prove your refraction of a light wave. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, shall we prove reflection also? Then we can say, yes, light will behave like a wave, because I told you whatever it is, we should be able to prove it, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, next one is reflection of plane wave. The next one is reflection of a plane wave. Now, I take this as a surface. Okay. The same old story again. A light coming and hitting. So this is point A, this is point B, a spherical wave, right? So basically this will be your angle of incidence, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
This light ray is getting reflected, isn't it? So this is called as your angle of reflection, right? Now, by the time this light ray comes here, hits and goes to a point, let me say D, your light ray coming here will hit at C.
Yes, sir.
So if I take a spherical wave here, from here if I draw a tangent, the same wave is at B. The moment it hit and went to D, then this wave would have traveled this point C, right? And hit the surface.
Yes, sir.
So it has gone to D. This wave which already touched the surface first went to D. At that point, your B came to C and it's hitting the surface. At that time, if I draw a spherical wave somewhere at D and draw a tangent to C, that is your wave front, isn't it? Clear? So can I say this is your angle of reflection?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
BC will be equal to VT. Right? BC
Yes, sir.
at some time t, the distance of BC is velocity of the wave in the wave into time taken. No. Now,
Yes, sir.
I said actually Shweta asked a very good question. Define wavefront, right? Now see, when this B came to C, this time A has already reflected, isn't it?
Yes,
Now I have
sir.
to draw a wavefront. I said each and every point on a wave, if they are on the same phase, then that is the locus of those points is called as wavefront, isn't it?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
when the light wave has from B to C it hit, from here I have to construct a wavefront which is similar to AD wave, isn't it? So for that, what I will do is, since the distance VT, BC has covered the distance of VT in the time t, with the same distance from A, I will construct a circle. Yes?
With BC as the radius, then.
Yes.
With the length of BC.
Yes. With BC as radius, this distance is VT again. I will draw a circle. Then that circle tangent I will draw and connect it to C. So each and every point on DC will be in the same phase now.
Yes, sir.
Everybody understood?
Sir, can you repeat after you said the construction of the circle?
See, we have to construct a wavefront in order to understand the reflection or diffraction. So BC, the distance traveled in time t is VT. Now, at this point, I need to construct a wavefront such that all the points of this wave are in the same phase with the reflected wave from A. for that, what I will do is I'll take VT as a radius. From A, with VT as a radius, I'll construct a circle. At this point, I will take a tangent and I'll connect it to C. So every point on CD will be in the same phase, right?
Yes.
So this will be your reflected angle. Now, if I take my triangle ADC and ABC, tell me what happens.
So they are triangles on same
This
base.
is I, this will be I. This
Yes.
is B.
Angle B equal to angle D.
Angle
B will be equal to angle D.
angle BAC. Right? See, okay.
Oh, I is equals to R, sir.
Yeah. See, from this, sin I from angle ABC is equal to BC divided by AC. Triangle ADC sin R is equal to AD divided by AC. So sin I divided by sin R is equal to BC divided by AD. BC is nothing but VT divided by AD is
VT only.
from this sin I is equal to sin R. That means I is equal to R.
Yes, sir.
So that is what your the law of reflection is.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Have you taken it down? Have you taken it down?
Yes, sir.
Shall I go to the next concept?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you have proved your reflection of light when light is a wave. You have proved your refraction of light when light is a wave, right? So from these two, you can now confidently say, yes, light is a wave. Correct? Now, since light is a wave, all the properties of waves can be attributed to light.
Yes, sir.
Interference, standing waves,
Yes, sir.
constructive interferences, destructive
Destructive.
interferences. Everything can be attributed to light also, correct?
Yes, sir.
Because in waves we have studied y is equal to a sin omega t minus kx. if it's a sound, we have studied P is equal to P naught cos omega t minus k. And if it's a light, it will be E is equal to
E
E
naught
sin
sin
omega
omega
t
t
minus
minus
k. Understood? So now we'll study one important concept called as coherent and non-coherent sources. Now, what do I mean by coherent sources? Okay. Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
If I have taken two sources, this is source 1, and I have taken another source, which is source 2. Source 1 and source 2 are emitting light. Okay. Source 1 and source 2 are emitting light. Now, if the sources, the lights coming out of these two sources, okay, have same wavelength, okay, same frequency, and same phase, or phase difference is constant, then those kind of sources are called as coherent sources. The light getting emitted from two sources the light getting emitted from two sources have same wavelength, same frequency, have same wavelength, same frequency, and are in same phase, or having or having constant phase difference. Constant phase difference is called as coherent sources. Now you can leave some space. If neither of these conditions satisfied, these are called as
Non-coherent.
non-coherent sources. Now, what are the conditions for coherent sources? Now, if I have to call two waves which are coming are coherent in nature, if I have to say two waves, light waves which are traveling are coherent in nature, then what are the conditions they have to satisfy? The first condition they have to satisfy is, what is it?
Same wavelength.
Yeah, it is the definition of your coherent source. The phase difference between the two waves of the light should be same, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is one. So phase difference should be constant. Clear? So for this, first light coming from the source and its virtual image. Okay, these can be coherent sources. That means if I take a candle and if I place a plane mirror, so you will see a virtual image here.
Yes, sir.
For this, you will see a virtual image here. So light coming from this and light coming from this are coherent in nature. Clear? So
Yes,
from
sir.
source and its virtual image, if the light is coming, then the two light waves are coherent in nature. The second one, two virtual images of same source. Then see, for example, I put a plane mirror here, and again there is one virtual image coming from one and two coherent in nature. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So does it coherent wave depend on amplitude?
Huh?
Do the coherent waves depend on amplitude?
Is not amplitude, wavelength, frequency, and phase difference.
Sir, in advanced exam, we had a question, sir.
On coherent sources,
Coherent waves.
coherent waves.
Yes.
Yes, sir, we had.
Amplitude is changing. What is changing? Interference, Amma.
Phase difference.
See, a wave is going like this. Now there is another wave. Which is going like this. This has an amplitude of this. And this has an amplitude of this.
Frequency changes.
Exactly. Next one. Two real images of same source. Okay. So the first condition is your phase difference should be constant. So light coming from all these three will have or call as coherent in nature, right? Have you taken it down?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The second condition is it should be a monochromatic light. The two sources which are emitting the light should be monochromatic. What do you mean by monochromatic? Anybody?
Frequency should be same. Same color.
Mono, single, chromatic. Chromatic means color. So
One color.
monochromatic means
Same
Same
color.
color.
same color. So the two sources should give monochromatic light. Then that light that are called as your coherent sources. Next, third one. The path difference delta x should be very small. The path difference delta x should be very small. Clear? What is the relation between phase difference and path difference?
Delta phi is equals to k delta x.
Delta phi is equal to
K delta x.
k delta x. Good. 1 second, just hold on. Yeah. Under the tremendous pressure from my wife, I had to purchase Amazon Fire. So that's an Amazon guy who came. Now my wife will make tasty food for me today. Right? Clear? So this is your coherent sources. Now let us go to the most important concept in your waves, light waves, called as where did you hear his name?
Young's modulus.
Today's question paper.
Yesterday's question paper.
What essay question paper?
Sir,
Start of
Young's
the class.
modulus.
Start of the
morning,
class, you said.
just 1 hour back I told you, no, Thomas Young.
Thomas. Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir. 18
So
not sir.
yesterday there was so
Excuse
many
me, sir.
18 not 1.
Wave theory. It explains interference.
You have a lot of questions coming from your Thomas Young so double hole experiment, okay?
So yesterday only there were so many questions, sir.
Yes.
Is this the same guy who invented Young's modulus?
Huh?
Is this the same guy who gave Young's modulus?
So the Huygens wave theory, does it explain interference only?
You're able to see the diagram? Now you tell me Huygens principle is used or not. See, now what this Young has done, okay? So, see, whenever light is falling from some, like, you see light falling from a small pinhole or anything, you see some of the places in your room will be dark and some of the places in your room will be bright. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this was explained by your Young, Thomas Young. Okay, what he said was, boss, light will interfere with each other. Why will it interfere with each other? For that, what he has done is, he has taken a light source, he has taken a cardboard. For the cardboard, he has made a small hole. Okay. Now you may ask me, so why did he make a hole? The reason why he made a hole was he want to make sure this single slit from here, the light which is coming, these light waves are in same phase. Understood? Now, so this light waves which are in the same phase are, then he has taken another cardboard. Now he has punched two holes in it, small holes. Okay. So now this A and B which are there, can I say these will behave like a secondary source of light? Or let me say, for a person standing here, A and B are primary sources of light.
Yes, sir.
So from A there is this waves coming like this, right? From B also there are waves coming. Okay, say this is your B waves. Clear? These are your A waves. Clear? Right? Now, can you see these waves are interfering at these points?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now they keep traveling. Then he has put up a screen here. When he has put up a screen here, he has seen alternate bright and dark fringes coming. Understood? He has seen alternate bright and dark fringes coming. So whenever you are getting a bright fringe, that means here the amplitude is high. Whenever you are getting a dark fringe, here when I said amplitude is low. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is what we have studied in interference of waves. Resultant amplitude is equal to, in some cases, this amplitude maximum
A1 plus A2.
A1 plus A2 and amplitude minimum
A1 minus A2.
minus A2.
Destructive and A2.
So that means your bright fringe has A1 plus A2 amplitude and your dark fringe has A1 minus A2 amplitude. This proves that your light waves undergo interference pattern, isn't it? So Young has proved the interference pattern of light wave, which was not being able to be explained by your particle nature of light. Clear? Particle nature was not able to explain the interference and diffraction patterns. So wave nature of the light was able to explain the interference and diffraction patterns. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now let us see, this is theoretical explanation. Let us mathematically prove this. Right? Did you put your heading as Young's double hole experiment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me draw the line diagram of your Young's double hole experiment. This is your source A, this is your source B. Okay. The distance between A and B, I will take it as small b. Clear? Now there is a screen which is placed at a distance capital D. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So the distance was measured, or it was
Huh?
the distance was measured from beginning only, sir.
Yeah, from the holes to the screen, the distance is capital D. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, there is a light wave which is starting from here. It goes and falls, let me say, on some point P. Okay. There is another light which is coming from B, and let me say this is also going and falling at P. Right? So I'll take this as O dash. The point where the two waves meet, the distance, I will take it as Y. Clear?
Yes, sir.
The distance between O dash and the point where the two waves are meeting, I will take it as 1. Right? Now, P distance, I will take it as X. Since a wave traveling from here, if it has traveled a distance X, wave traveling from B to P should have traveled a distance of X plus delta X. Right? From this point, okay, blue is not visible. From this point, center point to P, I'm joining this angle, I'm taking it as theta. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Until here, it's clear.
Yes.
Now see what I will do. From this point to this line perpendicular, I will drop it onto your BP wave. This I'll take it as B dash. So this angle which is there, this angle will be theta. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If your diagram you have taken perfectly, then I'll go ahead.
Done, sir.
Done.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me your AP, if this distance B is very small, my AP is approximately, I'll first tell this and I'll go for approximate. AP, can I say, is parallel to BP?
Yes, sir.
Right?
So how is it parallel? They're meeting it.
Yeah, because they are meeting at one point. So how will they be parallel?
Yeah.
See, oh my goodness, you are just nearly taking it. See, the light waves, they interfere, Norma,
Yeah.
right? These are spherical, Norma.
Yeah.
Parallel means they are not meeting one point, not that parallel. Okay. The light waves, all these points on this spherical wave, and this, if they are very near to each other, say almost this B, it will be very small to this. This point will also be very small to each other. That is what I mean.
Okay, sir.
Clear?
Yeah,
And your
it will
AB
be-
dash is perpendicular to both AP and also BP.
Yes, sir.
AP and BP and also OP. It is perpendicular AB dash.
Yes, sir.
Clear? Now, can I say my path difference delta X, which is there, is nothing but BP minus AP?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can I approximate this as BP minus AB dash? Now we'll do one thing. I'll approximate this as, I'll tell you that later, B dash P, because these 2 points will be very near. So it will be BP minus B dash P. Hello?
Yes, sir.
See, B and B dash are very near. So BP minus B dash P will be the path difference, no?
Yes, understood.
Because your AP is approximately equal to B dash P, okay? AP and B dash P, they are approximately equal. Clear? So BP minus B dash P is approximately B dash.
Yes, sir.
This is approximately equal to B sine theta. This angle, triangle B dash triangle,
Yes, sir, it is.
right? So this can be approximated to B tan theta, sin
Yes,
theta,
sir.
tan theta, right?
Yes, sir.
Triangle O P O dash, tan theta is nothing but Y by D O P O dash, tan theta is equal to opposite side by adjacent side, Norma.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
So this can be written as B Y divided by D.
Yes, sir.
So from this your path difference is equal to YB divided by
D.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Your point P, is it constructive interference or destructive interference?
Destructive.
Right. Two light sources are meeting, Amma.
Constructive. sir.
Constructive interference. Have you taken this down? Have you
Yes.
taken this down? Have you taken this down?
1 second.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
1 second. Who told 1 second?
To me only. Just
Huh?
one. So one line, so 1 minute. Okay, I'm done.
I'm going very slowly. In this way, I like Tanvi. The moment I finish writing, she'll finish writing. Now, what will be the condition for me to get a bright fringe? Anybody?
Constructive difference.
Delta X is equal to lambda.
Fantastic. So, YB divided by D should be equal to,
N lambda.
clear? From this, okay, let us put this in box. At Y is equal to 0, you get a bright fringe, isn't it? At Y is equal to plus or minus D lambda by B, you get a bright fringe. At Y is equal to plus or minus 2D lambda by B, you'll get a bright fringe.
Yes, sir.
At Y is equal to 3D lambda by B, you get a bright fringe, and so on.
Yes, sir.
So N is 0, 1.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Dark fringe.
Delta
N
X
plus
equals
1 by 2 lambda.
2 lambda.
Or else 2n plus 1
2n
into,
plus 1 into lambda by 2.
right?
Yes, sir.
So delta x is nothing but YB divided by D is equal to 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Or else your Y is equal to plus or minus D lambda by 2B 3D lambda by 2B 5D lambda by
2D.
2B
2D, sir.
and so on, right?
Yes, sir.
So at these points on the screen, you will get something called as dark fringe.
Dark fringe.
Clear?
Done, sir.
Now, what do we mean by fringe width? We'll do one thing. Instead of beta, we'll use W. Right? See, what do I mean by fringe width? Fringe width is nothing but the difference between the two consecutive bright fringes or two consecutive dark fringes. Okay. take it down, distance between two consecutive bright or dark fringes is called as fringe width. Clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, if there is a bright fringe at nth integer, then where will be your next bright fringe? N plus 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Now do one thing. What I want you to do is take y is equal to n lambda d by b. Calculate your distance y at n and y at n plus 1. So y n plus 1 minus y n, you do it.
So can you repeat what you just did?
Yeah, I heard about.
Huh?
Can you repeat what you just did?
See, I'm telling you, your fringe width is distance between two consecutive bright or dark fringes, right?
Yes,
For
sir.
example, there is a bright fringe at n, so it will be n lambda d by b.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And the next
N
bright
plus lambda d by b.
n plus 1 into lambda d by b.
Okay, sir. Please.
What do you mean by fringe width? The
N.
distance between two consecutive bright or dark fringes.
Yes.
So it's lambda d by b.
It will be,
Lambda d.
Lambda d by b.
so the fringe width is given by lambda d by b.
B.
If you know your screen distance, if you know your slit distance, hole distance, and if you know your lambda, can you find your fringe width?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now shall we go to your intensity? Have you taken this down?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
YB by D is equal to 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2 dark fringe. YB by D is equal to m lambda bright fringe. Okay. Then fringe width, distance between two consecutive bright or dark fringes, is called as your fringe width. From the W is equal to yn plus 1 minus yn will give you your fringe width. Okay. Or else you can do the same thing. No, here d lambda by b you have one fringe, and 2d lambda by b you have another fringe, right? If you minus 2d lambda by b minus d lambda by b, you get your fringe width, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now let us calculate your intensity. So what will be your intensity of light when it comes to your interference patterns, right? The light which is coming from A, can I take it as E01 sine omega t minus kx? The light which is coming from 2, can I take it as E0 sine omega t minus kx plus some delta?
Yes, sir.
We take it as fine, sir.
Fine, okay. Right? So what will be your resulting equation? E
E
naught
naught
sin omega t minus kx plus delta, right?
Yes, sir.
Your E naught is equal to
E naught 2, E naught square plus 2, E naught 1, E naught 2 cos phi.
right?
Yes, sir.
Tan delta is equal to
E naught 1 sin,
E naught 2.
sin phi divided by E1 plus E2.
sorry, E naught 1 plus E naught 2 sin, sorry, cos phi.
But this is the reason why I have spent a lot of time on your waves. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If this delta is equal, this phi, if it is equal to 2n pi,
Constructive interference. To n plus destructive interference.
where n is an integer, okay?
Yes, sir.
So here you will be getting
Bright light. I mean, bright fringe and dark
fringe.
Dark fringe.
dark fringe.
You will be getting dark fringe. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you very well remember, your intensity is directly proportional to square of
To a square. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So can I say my I1 is equal to some constant into A1 square and I2 will be equal to some constant into A2 square.
Yes, sir.
Now, if there is a superposition, can I say I is equal to some constant into A square?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, the resultant the intensity I is equal to, can I write it as K into A1 square plus A2 square plus 2 A1 A2 cos phi.
Yes, sir.
Same thing, Amma, right? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, if I take this K inside, K A1 square is
I1.
I1,
K A2 square is.
I2.
I2.
So I will be equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 cos phi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because I1 I2 is K square A1 square A2 square, no? So A1 A2 K will be under root, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you take it down?
Yes, sir.
Your waves is easy. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Shall I go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
The same thing. Now you have different cases, Amma. Very simple. Right? What is your first case? If phi is equal to 0.
And I1 plus I2 whole square. No.
Fantastic.
I root I1 plus root I2 whole square.
Right? Here, if I1 is equal to I2 is equal to some I0, then I max will be equal to,
4i.
4i.
this is where you get your
Bright range.
Bright.
clear. See how easy it is. From this, you have to understand another thing. If two intensities combinedly, if it is only 2I0, but at your bright fin, it will become
4i.
4I0. Clear?
Yes.
So we had question on this one also in advance, sir.
Hmm.
I minimum will get.
No. You will not get I minimum.
We'll get I minimum at phi is equals to 180 degrees.
Yes. I1 plus I2. If phi is equal to 180.
180 degrees, then will be I minimum is equals to root of I1 minus root of I2 whole square.
Good. Root I1 minus
Root I2 whole square.
whole square. If I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I0, I minimum
Zero.
is
0.
0. Dark fringe.
now, sir, but I have seen that if it is a dark fringe here, and if it's a bright fringe here, the intensity goes on increasing and then reaches maximum, isn't it? This
Yes,
is
sir.
I minimum, this is I maximum, right? Then now, let me say Mohit came and asked, sir, what will be the intensity at this point? I'm interested in the intensity in the middle. Okay?
I1 plus I2.
If point is in between I max and I min, then I'm taking I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I0. Okay. So your I will be equal to 4I0 cos square phi divided by 2. Do you want me to do it? Do you want me to do a derivation for this?
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness. Your I is equal to, it will become I0 plus I0
Plus 2 I0 cos phi.
cos phi. So 2 I0 I'm taking common 1 plus
Cos phi.
1 plus cos phi is 2 cos square phi by 2.
Yes, sir.
So I will be equal to
4 I0 cos square phi by 2.
clear.
Yes, sir.
With this, we have successfully completed half of your wave optics.
Half.
Yeah, half.
I still have optical part. I have interference from thin films. Then I have diffraction. In diffraction, I have Fraunhofer's diffraction. I have Fresnel's diffraction, and then I have resolution. I have polarization. I have Rayleigh's criteria.
So that's half the chapter.
Done.
So that's half the chapter.
So if you want, I'll give 10 minutes break, and in next half an hour, I can complete interference from thin films also. Interference from thin films is very easy actually. It will be over in 10 minutes only.
So did I read the message wrong or was it from 10 to 1? Did I read the message wrong or was it from 10 to 1?
10 to
1 p.m.
Reminding for the classes.
10 to 1.
That was a message you sent.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You want to take a 5-minute break?
So finish it.
Water.
Huh?
I need to drink water.
I'm not stopping you. No?
No, so I have to get notes. So can you give that 5 minutes break?
Go.
She should walk 3 flights of stairs.
19 stairs.
At steps, not stairs.
Okay, genius. 19 steps.
What Tanesh may corrected you correctly only, no? 19 stage means 19 floors.
No, such 9. I don't know.
No, I was thinking what 19 stairs, she has to get water from ground floor from her apartment.
She lives in a big house, so she has to walk up and down.
So what else did you do on your videos, everybody? So did you write 2 exams yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Morning was mains and afternoon was advanced.
Advanced.
Is it?
Advanced. Yes, sir.
Okay.
4 of us wrote offline itself.
Yeah.
4 of us wrote offline.
No, even I wrote offline.
What? You are online, huh? Exam?
Advanced exam we wrote offline, 4 of us.
No, morning, what exam did you write?
Mains.
Was it offline or online?
That was offline.
The
afternoon.
Campus and low?
Yeah.
Okay.
The afternoon exam also, so gave option for online. Like
So I was
4 of us.
to go home and then write.
Yeah, better to go home. But then
Yeah. At what time your exam started?
9.
Afternoon exam.
For me, it was 2:30 because
2:30, sir.
2:30.
for us 1:30 only, sir.
Yeah, we started at 1:30 only, sir, in the school.
Yeah.
Nice. So, how was your experience staying the whole day in Sunday also?
Not going to answer that question.
What?
I really don't know how to answer that. Is it a dig up on us?
Why?
It was good, sir.
So morning, we reached school at like 8 o'clock. At 8:40 I reached. At evening, 7 o'clock I'm reaching back home. So it was Sunday.
See, I clearly told you have to forget your Sunday. You are in now India-wide program.
Yes, sir.
No, but see, at this point of time, Any question given in Newton's law, you should be able to solve it. You are not able to solve it. How is it, Amma? If you're again telling me, sir, I need a practice for Newton's law, kinematics. Nikita? Nikita? Okay, let me ask Trupti. So I said 5 minutes break, everybody went dead silent. Kavya?
Sir, I
Vajra?
have some doubts from yesterday's paper. Can I ask that now?
What is it?
Yes, sir.
What is it, Mohit?
No, like, so yesterday a question came, like the amplitude of sound wave in air can be described in terms of. So is density also one of them, sir?
Your voice is breaking.
No, like can amplitude of sound be described in terms of density also, sir?
Amplitude of sound wave.
Yes, sir.
We can tell you. No?
In terms of density.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Fine.
So what happens to intensity in constructive interference?
Mohit, I didn't really, see, the sound wave can be told in displacement function and pressure function, right?
Yes, sir.
If the sound wave can be told in pressure, you know the relation between pressure and density, right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
Hello.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Then, did you get a small idea?
I did only displacement and pressure. So I'm probably getting like -2 now.
I don't know.
But
Actually,
no partial marks.
when we're deriving, we have derived the velocity of sound in terms of density also. No? V is equal to under root P by rho, gamma P by rho, Newton and Laplace.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Velocity in terms of amplitude also we know, no? Displacement function, Amma.
Yes, sir.
Differentiate that with respect to time, you get the velocity function, no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Oh. Newton and Laplace.
Then, how did you miss the small point?
No partial marks.
Huh?
So we don't even have partial marking this time for multiple choice questions.
So we're getting only partial marks. Suppose that they don't give partial marking also.
No, sir, if there are no partial marks, it's like you have to mark every single option. And if you miss even one, then you get -2.
Nice. Now you will know how to answer your paper correctly.
So,
So I'll leave all the multiple answer next time. I won't even mark one.
If there is no partial marking.
Yeah.
What's it?
So for the final exam, we'll be having, no, sir.
So shall we now go to optical part and then your interference from thin films?
So what is the range of loudness for a human ear?
0 to 8 decibel.
What?
The range of loudness for a human ear.
20 to 20,000.
in decibels.
0 to 80, no, sir.
So it's 0 to 180, right? Like above 80, it's like we can't like tolerate it, but we can cure till 180. Right.
I was confused because a normal human being can tolerate loudness up to 80 decibel, and in the first option, it was given the range of loudness is 10 decibel to 180 decibel. So I was confused if it was 80 or 180.
See, generally, how can I tell you? Maximum you can hear is 120 decibels. Okay. But safe side we'll say from 0 to 80 only.
Sir,
Hmm.
so what happens to intensity when it is a constructive interference
Maximum. No?
and amplitude?
Maximum.
Maximum only.
Proportional to amplitude square.
Okay, sir.
See,
In destructive, it is the reverse.
here, no? Say amplitude, right? In
Yes.
relation between amplitude and intensity, we have got. If you take in terms of amplitudes only, right? So this one, A is equal to under root of A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2 cos phi. Into cos phi, phi is equal to 0, you will get maximum amplitude, right?
Yes, sir.
So it will be A1 plus A2.
It was a question from yesterday's paper.
If phi is equal to 0, I max is under root of I1 plus I2 whole square. So this will become A1 plus A2 in terms of amplitude. Clear?
Yes, sir.
But also in reflection or refraction of wave, which quantity remains constant other than frequency? If the options are speed, wavelength, frequency, and phase.
Wavelength. Wavelength. Mr.
I guess only frequency, sir.
Wavelength and phase both, no?
Yeah, wavelength and phase.
They are going in the same medium.
That is not mentioned, sir.
See, because reflection, it is going in the same medium, right? So if your medium changes, only your wavelength changes. Oh my goodness. 1 second.
The definition.
1
But
second.
in refraction, the medium changes, right?
Where is that? Can you see the screen?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes.
In refraction, when medium changes, your wavelength changes because refractive index change. Your velocity will change. The only thing which does not change with respect to change in medium is your frequency.
Will the phase change?
Lambda changes, phase change will denote. Delta phi is equal to 2 pi by lambda into delta x. No?
Yes.
If lambda changes, automatically your phase will also change.
Okay.
I think now you can answer all your previous exam questions, is it?
We can at least know what to do, sir.
You are not, I can answer. You are saying at least I know what to do. Now, let us see something called as optical path. Now, what do I mean by optical path? Okay. 1 second, just hold on. I'll show you the. I'm sending you a picture, Nikita. Do not send it in the group. Huh?
Which
Do-
one, sir?
I just sent you a picture. Do not send it in the group, okay?
Okay, sir.
I just sent because I need that picture for reference.
Okay, sir.
Can you see the image? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
See, when you put a wooden log is there on the top of the water surface, two things happens, which is your refraction and reflection. Okay. Now see, when reflection is happening and refraction is happening, you see different colors, different kinds of images. Okay. This is because of interference pattern happening due to the reason of water. Clear? So that means your light, when it is going in reflection and it is going in refraction. Reflection, medium change is not there. So your wavelength, velocity, everything remains the same. In refraction, there is a medium change. Hence your wavelength, velocity, everything changes, isn't it? So everything changes. This and this should be different, isn't it? So now what happens and why is this happening? This is predominantly happening because of something called as optical path. What do I mean by optical path? For example, I'm taking my equation E is equal to E naught sine omega t minus x by v. Okay. This is the equation of light which is going in a medium. Right? I know mu is equal to c by v, where c is speed of light in vacuum. Yes? Instead of v naught, I'm just taking it as c. Nothing wrong in it, right?
Yes, sir.
But what is v c by mu? So this will become E is equal to E naught sine omega x by c. Correct? So I'm taking this omega inside. This will become sine t minus k dash x.
Yes, sir.
So from this, your phase difference delta phi, can I say it will be k dash delta x?
Yes, sir.
Phase is equal to, what is your k dash?
Nu x by c.
Mu by c.
Into delta x, right? If I compare this, compare with, okay? Now let us assume this equation is in medium. So if I write the same equation in vacuum, this will become x by c.
Yes, sir.
So if I compare that with delta phi is equal to omega by c into delta x, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Or else, do you want me to write that also? E is equal to E naught sine omega t minus x by this one?
No, sir. I don't want.
See, okay, you may get doubt as to why sir compared it with this. Let me just write it for other students. Now, if light is just going in vacuum, then E will become E naught sine omega into t minus x by c, right? Then your delta phi dash will be equal to omega by c into delta x, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Going in vacuum, right? So now compare these two. Omega by c delta x is delta phi dash, isn't it? Omega by c into delta x is delta phi dash, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Shall I go to the next page?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So delta phi, can I take it as mu delta phi dash?
Yes, sir. Omega c delta x is new dash.
Yeah, now this is one equation that whenever a light wave is going from one medium to another medium, it suffers a phase difference, right? So phase difference in medium is equal to refractive index into phase difference in vacuum.
Yes, sir.
Right? So if this wave is undergoing same, this is in a case where this whole thing is in a case where delta x is constant, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Correct? Because here I have taken same path difference, no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So now from these two, from this and from this, can I say if, listen carefully, okay? I'm going to define what your optical path is. So if in medium, the wave has traveled delta x, then in vacuum, how much would it have traveled? Mu delta x. This is a case where your phase difference is constant.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm writing two conditions. One is if your path difference is equal, then your delta phi is mu times of delta phi dash, right? Now I'm taking a second condition. If your phase difference is constant, right? Right? Then
Yes, sir.
if it has traveled delta x in medium, it would have traveled mu delta x in vacuum, right? This mu delta x which is there, this is called as optical path. Clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear? If this is clear, then I'll go to interference from thin films. With that, I'll conclude the interference topic. So when I come to college tomorrow, we'll do diffraction. We'll complete diffraction tomorrow, and the remaining whole week we'll solve numericals. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So if somebody asks you what is optical path, then you will say, boss, if a light ray is changing, if a light ray traveling in vacuum changes the medium and enters into another medium whose refractive index is mu, then if the wave has traveled delta x in the medium, at the same time it would have traveled mu delta x in the vacuum. Clear? So that mu delta x which is there is called as optical path. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand your optical path? Did you understand? You see, if you want, I'll wait. If you want, I'll wait. Here you put your path difference, phase differences to be same, path differences changing. You'll get the same thing, okay? Clear?
Yes.
So now that you understood your path difference, now let's go to something called as ouch. Now, for example, I take a glass plate. Whose thickness is D. Okay. Now what I'll draw it a little bigger here. I take a glass plate whose thickness is D. Okay. And the refractive index for this is mu. Now I'm going to send a light. It falls on the surface. So it is your angle of incidence. Since it is going from rarer medium to denser medium, the light will bend towards your normal. So this is your refractive angle R, isn't it? So once it comes here, again if I draw a normal to it, since it is coming from denser medium to rarer medium, it will move away from your normal, isn't it? Now see, whenever the light falls at this point, I am assuming not completely it will interfere. A part of it will reflect also. Clear? Now, this light ray, I'm taking it as A, I'm taking this as B. B also, I'll take a part of it is getting refracted, a part of it is getting reflected. Clear? Now again I take a medium here. I take a part of it is getting refracted, a part of it is getting reflected. I'll again take a normal and then I'll again take this. So here also it happens in the same way, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a converging lens. So all the light rays which are coming and falling on this will converge to one point. Clear? I'll take that point to be P dash. Here also, I'm going to put a converging lens. All the light rays which are coming will meet at one point, which is called as P. Clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See, what all I have done is I have taken a light coming and falling at A. So A, B, C, D, E. When it falls at A part of it is getting refracted and a part of it is getting reflected. Any wrong in it?
No, sir.
No. So refracted light again came to B. At B, a part of it is reflected, a part of it is refracted. So from B it went to C, and from C again it happened the same way, came to D, and from D it again came out. Now see, the B light which came should be equal to D light which came. There should be parallel light rays. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Correct? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt in this until now?
No, sir.
Now, the light which is coming from B and coming from D, they should be in the same phase difference. But if you look very carefully, light coming from B to P and light coming from D to P, there is a path difference, isn't it? Yes? Hello? Because
Yes, sir.
the light which is coming out from D, it went to C, and from C it came to D, and then it came out, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now see, the distance traveled by the light ray BP should be equal to 2 mu times the distance traveled by this. So can I say the path difference between BP and DP will be equal to mu times your path difference, which is 2 times D, right?
Yes, sir.
See, I have drawn an enlarged image, so you see that there is a quite difference here. But if you draw in a very microscopic level, this BC will almost be straight, isn't it? And CD will almost be straight, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So the path difference between BP and DP will be equal to delta X is equal to mu times 2D, or delta X will be equal to 2 mu D. Correct? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Clear? So, in case of refraction, that is BP, DP, everything, if your delta X is equal to n lambda, you have
Constructive interference or bright fringe.
Bright fringe.
clear. But what is your n lambda? Clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
If 2 mu d is equal to n plus, then
Dark.
then
Dark.
dark fringe, or we also called as
Destruct.
interference, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, in case of reflection, we have seen. Now, let us see in case of reflection. The light wave which came like this, reflected here, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, the next light, this is AP dash light. Now, let's see CP dash light. From A it has traveled to B, from B it has traveled to C, and then came. What will be your path difference?
Sir, can you repeat, sir?
Same thing, sir. To
Same thing, no? 2 mu d only, no? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Correct. Now, see the logic. Now you may say, sir, here also, if 2 mu d is equal to n lambda, will it be a bright fringe, right? And 2 mu d is equal to n plus half lambda, will it be a dark fringe? Now, I am asking you a question. Let me ask you a very simple question. If 2 mu d is equal to n plus half lambda in refraction, and if your 2 mu d is equal to n plus half lambda is there in reflection also, if both of them are destructive interferences, then will there be any light coming like CP dash, EP dash, DP and everything?
No, sir.
So they get cancelled.
No, right?
Yes, sir. So one if it is
One
Go ahead, yes. One if it is constructive interference, the other should be a destructive interference. So that is the logic here. So in case of refraction, if your constructive interference is happening at 2 mu d is equal to n lambda, in case of reflection,
it will
at
happen
2
to
n lambda will be a
destructive one.
exactly. So now let us write. Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
In reflection, if 2 mu d is equal to n lambda, it is,
Destructive.
Destructive.
and 2 mu d is equal to n plus half lambda, it is.
Constructive.
Constructive.
Now, reflection or transmission. Reflection. Constructive. Destructive. In any case, your path difference is equal to 2 mu d, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I want you to make a tabular column for this. In constructive, if your 2 mu d is equal to
n lambda.
n lambda, in refraction or transmission, then it is constructive, right?
Yes.
2 mu d is equal to n plus
Half lambda.
half lambda, then it is
Destructive.
here 2 mu d is equal to,
Plus
it is constructive. And 2
And 2
mu
mu
d,
is equals to n lambda, it is destructive.
this is the reason why previous slide I have shown you the reflection and refraction, right?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The same can be the same thing which we have learned it just now, no? Interference in thin films, right? The same thing can be attributed to your wave going from lighter string to heavier string. Just like your sound waves which we have done, right? Do you remember reflection and transmission?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you remember reflection and transmission?
Yes, sir.
Amplitude of reflected,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
amplitude of transmitted. Amplitude of transmitted is equal to 2 kT divided by K1 plus K2 into AI. AR is equal to K1 minus K2 divided by K1 plus K2.
Into AI.
Yes,
Do you remember that?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if your light wave is going from rarer to denser, a light wave is going like this, then it goes like this and reflected and inverted, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is going from
From
denser.
denser to rarer, it won't get inverted, it'll come back as the same.
So it will go like this and something goes back, right?
Yes, sir.
The same thing which we can have the analogy, right?
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you taken this table as well?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have to by heart this table.
Done,
This one, and then this I is equal to 4 I naught cos square 5 by 2 I max I minimum. Okay, sometimes he'll ask the ratio of I max to I minimum is clear,
Zero.
Yes, sir.
and then your fringe width lambda d by b, and sometimes he'll say sixth bright fringe is coinciding with seventh dark fringe. Okay, so that kind of
Change the
questions we
values.
have.
Then it'll ask us to find lambda.
This one. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now, okay, everybody on your videos. Nikita,
Yes, sir.
explain me what we have done today. On your videos, everyone.
So we started with a new topic called as wave optics. That we first studied about the light, where the light is an electromagnetic wave. It is known what exactly is electromagnetic wave is if in which both the electrical field and the magnetic field
Mm.
are perpendicular to each other, then it is electromagnetic wave. Then light is also a non-mechanical wave we studied because it does not require any medium. Then we wrote the electric field wave equation of it to be E equal to E naught into sine omega t minus kx. Then we can the general equations are the what is the speed of a light, which is nothing but 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Then light waves are again of three types: spherical, plane wavefront, and cylindrical. Then we came to so how do you pronounce that? Huygens principle. So, in that we have again two statements, which says that every point on a given wavefront acts as a secondary wavelet, which travels in all direction with the same velocity, like 3 into 10 power 8. When the position of a new wavefront at any instant is a surface touching the secondary wavelet tangentially in the forward direction. Then we went to refraction of a wave plane. In refraction of a wave plane, first we defined what is wavefront. Wavefront is defined as the locus of all points where the wave will have the same phase everywhere.
Correct.
Then refractive index, which is denoted mu, is nothing but V naught by Vm. You can also take it like the velocity in the first medium by the velocity in the second medium.
Yeah, so take it as mu is equal to C by V or V1 divided by
V2. Then from there we came into important conclusion, which says that sin I by sin R equal to V1 by V2.
equal to lambda 1 by lambda 2 equal to
mu2 by mu1.
From this, lambda 1 by lambda 2 is equal to mu 2 by mu 1 means your lambda is inversely proportional. So if the light wave is going from rarer medium to denser medium, what happens to your wavelength?
Decrease.
It will
Decrease.
Good. If your light is going from denser to rarer medium,
then the lambda will increase.
Accordingly, your velocity as well. Since your lambda, see how beautiful your physics is. We said V is equal to nu lambda, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So V is changing, lambda is changing, but frequency is?
Frequency does not change.
Exactly. Now to satisfy your frequency, your velocity and lambda will compensate each other. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Then
the Snell's law, mu1 sin I is equal to mu2 sin R. In reflection, we did refraction now. Then next we came to reflection. There, like the proved law of reflection, which says angle of incident equal to angle of reflection. That we saw. And then next we went into coherent waves and non-coherent waves. In coherent waves, it says that if two sources are emitting a light, which are of the same frequency, same wavelength, and even if they are in the same phase, or you can give it as a general conclusion, which says that if they have a constant phase difference, then they are known as coherent sources. In case these above conditions are not met, then it is known as non-coherent. Then we wrote the conditions for the coherent nature, wherein delta phi is constant, or phase difference is constant. And under that again we have subconditions, which says if the light is coming from a source and if it has a virtual image, like we took example of a candle, plane mirror, reflection. So that is a example for coherent nature. Then if two virtual images of the same source are there, or if two real images of the same source. We also then saw another condition which says for the coherent nature to be if it is a monochromatic light, in monochromatic light, it is a light which is of one color only. Then we also saw that the path difference, that is delta x, should be very small.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
And next we went to Young's double hole experiment.
Mm.
This we saw like when the light is emitted, at the place where they both they intersect at each other, the light will intersect. Then further it goes and then it produces a bright fringe and a dark fringe. When there is a bright fringe, then amplitude is high. If it is dark fringe, then amplitude is low.
Means double hole experiment, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Then we proved it, saying that we took a diagram wherein the light is passing. We took B to be very small. Then from there we proved that the path difference will be B sine theta, which is the distance between two sources. Further, the delta x is equal to YB by D, where D is the distance of the screen.
That delta x is equal to YD by B is there, right?
YB by D.
YD by D. Remember that as well. Put that also in box. So when you're writing in your formula book, you will be writing this: sin I by sin R is equal to V1 by V2 is equal to lambda 1 by lambda 2 is equal to mu2 by mu1. And then you come to your Young's double hole experiment. You will be writing path difference between the light coming out of the two sources, A and B, or S1 and S2, will be equal to lambda B by D.
Okay, sir.
Or lambda D by B, right?
Lambda B by D.
Lambda, I remember it as lambda D by D. Lambda small d divided by capital D. So lambda B by D. Okay, go ahead.
Then next we saw like the bright fringe.
Remember how we got it, because sometimes there will be a questions where your derivative model of questions will be there. Okay. We have taken it as tan theta, no?
Yes, sir. B tan theta.
B tan theta or B sin theta. Sometimes they will give that sin theta and ask you your this one.
Path difference.
So at that time you have to tell it. You have to do it. Delta x is equal to B sin theta, and then you have to solve it.
Okay. Next we went into the bright fringe. What are the conditions? There the path difference is equal to n lambda. So there again delta x, as we proved in Young's double hole, YB by D. YB by D equal to n lambda. So this is possible only when y is equal to 0 plus or minus d lambda by b plus or minus 2d lambda by b and so on.
You are telling bright fringe, yeah?
Yes, sir, bright fringe.
So Young's double hole experiment, you have to remember your path difference and then your fringe width.
Fringe width.
Fringe path difference delta x is equal to lambda y b by d, and fringe width is equal to lambda d by b.
Yes, sir. Then in the dark fringe, delta x will be equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. So from there again we get YB by D equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Here y will be equal to only plus or minus d lambda by 2b or plus or minus 3 lambda by 2b and so on. We won't have like even multiples, only odd. Then we went to fringe width, which is nothing but it is the distance between any two consecutive either bright or dark fringes. There again we proved that W, which is nothing but the fringe width, is equal to lambda D by B.
Yeah, now if you see, if you calculate a fringe width between two bright fringe or two dark fringe, you're getting lambda D by B only.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we are.
So your fringe width remains constant, okay?
Okay, sir. Then we went to intensity. Intensity, first we took this E1 equal to E01 sin omega t minus kx. We took another wave which is E2 equal to E02 sin omega t minus kx plus 5.
Good. Nikita, stop there. Shweta will tell from you.
Okay, sir.